YWCA St. Thomas Elgin launched our housing expansion here in downtown St. Thomas as a collaborative effort of Project Tiny Hope, which is a partnership of Doug Terry Homes, Sanctuary Homes, and YWCA, and we welcomed our first 16 residents into 10 tiny houses. This property sat as a brownfield for decades, required significant remediation. Obviously, it took us a little bit of time to find a property in downtown St. Thomas, purchase the property, and do the site planning, and now to execute the full construction. We are going to be finished in July of 2026 with 40 tiny houses, and central to the property will be a program house delivered by YWCA with programs and services. We're going to have raised fruit and vegetable gardens on the back of the property for food security programming, and a children's playground on site for residents and guests. And when you say tiny houses, it can mean different things to different people. These houses are a full style home built by a top-notch home builder in the community. They're not container houses, they're not short-term shelter, they are long-term affordable supportive homes. And so they bring that sense of security, safety, dignity, comfort, a place where you can really settle in and build that stabilization. It's a very diverse group of people that we are supporting. We are very intentional to ensure that our priority populations, women and gender diverse people, youth, First Nations and Indigenous people, we're certainly allocated spaces first and foremost, and we have intentional ratios for those houses. We currently have a Furnish a Home fundraising campaign right now, so if individuals are interested in making donations, we are asking for $5,000 to furnish a one-bedroom, $6,000 for a two-bedroom, $7,000 for a three-bedroom, or any contribution makes a difference, whether it's $10, $25, etc.
The demand has rose considerably. It's unfortunate, some people say, hey Karen, how's it going at the food bank? And I say it's extremely busy. It's not a good thing to be that busy at a food bank. So our numbers were like, say, 8,900. I'm, off the top of my head in 2020. 2023, went up to say 19,000. And then 2024, we were close to 25,000 people that we fed. That many people. So that's what's overwhelming and, shocking, very shocking. And we're even busier this year. So it's still happening. Some food banks, I belong to Food Banks Canada as well as Feed Ontario, and some food banks have had to shut down. Like that was just say about 5 or 6 months ago due to the demand, and they just couldn't keep up. And you just have to restructure, regroup, and all rally together to get help from your community. Or if some of these places with the fires and the floods, etc., have a rough go, people are there to help the community out. But we've just never seen such an influx in our numbers and people in need. A lot of families, it's mom and dad, 3 or 4 children, and their parents living with them to save money on mortgage rates or rent rates. Housing can be very expensive. We're very fortunate. We live in such a giving community, and we've got the tiny homes going up nearby. We've got apartment complexes being built. Very fortunate that way, but I'd love to see the price of groceries go down.
I've worked with the chief for the past 3 years, and we had some plans in place as to where we wanted to see the service go. The city is expanding rapidly, and we need to match that capacity as well for the growing demands in our city and the growing demands in the police service. So, to make sure that we have adequate resources and boots on the ground, investing in the technology to keep up with the technology in this day and age, and to provide our officers with the tools they need to do their jobs and keep them safe and provide the resources they need to do their jobs adequate and effectively. Policing is not it's not the job it was 30 years ago. We're the only ones that work 24 hours, 7 days a week. So we get called for all sorts of things that maybe might not be a police issue, but when the community calls, we do come and we'll plug in the proper resources. We're just trying to keep up with that demand. Some of the calls are a lot more complex now, take more time to investigate, and we need the residents to help us as much as they need us to help them. So, we have the body camera program is now rolled out here, so the accountability, the transparency is there. Just be vigilant in your communities. If you see something, report it. Not necessarily you have to come to the police station or call in. The online reporting is quite extensive now, and someone monitors that around the clock. So, we need to work together to have a safer community.
So we do the budget survey every year. It's an opportunity to hear from residents about, what are they thinking right now before we start before council considers to build the budget. But the two themes to me that were pretty clear were, in the last year's budget survey, people had identified housing as a priority they wanted us to spend on, and that went up 10% this year. So I think people are quite rightly saying, if we have a homelessness problem, surely housing is at least part of a homelessness solution. So I think that's right and good, and I think council agrees with that. The other one was a lot of anxiety around any kind of tax increase at all, because we know there's food insecurity. We know Canada-wide, unemployment has gone up a little bit, and of course we have this, crazy megalomaniac south of the border doing crazy tariff stuff that changes every day. And whether those end up good or bad, the uncertainty of those tariffs is bad for any economy, and bad for the economy means bad for jobs, and that means bad for our residents. So how each councillor interprets that input is going to be up to them. That's why there's 10 of us. We'll hash it out, and it will absolutely inform the decisions that council makes as part of budget.
Oxford Reads is a collaborative reading program that's done between the Oxford County Library System and the Woodstock Public Library System. And the purpose of the program is to encourage people in the community to share a common reading experience. In late spring, we have a committee of librarians representative from both of the library systems choose a short list of 5 titles. And the titles must be by a Canadian author, and they must be by a living Canadian author. That's really important because we do ask the author to visit us. And it has to have been published within the last 5 years. Then we put it up for a public vote. And we ask the public to choose that one book from the list that they think would make a really good book to read and talk about and share. Once the title is selected, we invite the author to come and visit us here in Woodstock. And our author this year will be Ted Nolan. And the book that we're going to be talking about is Life in Two Worlds, from the Reserve to the NHL and back again. And it's his memoir. And we'll be hosting that gala November the 7th. And that's a free event. Tickets are available through Eventbrite, and they're available now, so you can get your free tickets there. And we hope you'll circle that date on your calendar and make plans to come to the gala.
I'm very excited to join the GOHL. I think they really committed themselves to becoming the really elite junior league. I'm just looking forward to joining the GOHL and helping the officials any way I can. The last few years, I've just seen the commitment Greg's had to this league. He's grown it. He has great ideas. So, when I'm coming in, I'm just going to try to blend in. He's done a wonderful job, and hopefully just help the young officials and just hopefully guide them to the right way. I've been officiating my whole life since I was 12 years old, doing novice hockey, and have grown all the way up through the NHL. So I've been lucky enough to be around the best officials in the world, the best teachers in the world. So if I can give back a little bit and hopefully give my knowledge back to the up and coming officials, I'm looking forward to doing that. I look back at my days in the OHA and I have so many fond memories, right? A lot of my good friends to this day are the people I met doing junior hockey, my days in Woodstock. So I think my goal is everybody in this league, I want them to officiate the best they can, but I want to make sure that everyone has fun and enjoy this because it goes by quick. So every time you lace up the skates, I want them to enjoy the job they're doing. The best officials in the world at every level, whether it's minor hockey or the NHL level, they have great presence, they have great communication, and they have the ability to be great when the game calls for it. So when the game needs you to step in and make a big call, that's when you excel. So I think that's probably what makes a good official.
Want to share news from your area? We'd love to hear from you. Email us with your community updates and be part of the conversation.